I rent my house in Goole, Hull or Skegness instead of selling it? It can be difficult to decide whether it is better to rent a house or to sell it by putting it back on the market. There can be many factors to be considered, and it often comes to a personal choice about the level of involvement and time you want to invest. Renting and selling both have their own set of risks and benefits. Here are a few of the most raised concerns when you are trying to decide whether to sell or rent your property. Consider the state of the current market. Before deciding whether to sell or rent out your house, it's important to carefully evaluate the current market conditions. This will help to understand which might be a more profitable decision. Taking a realistic look at the neighborhood where your house is located is an essential first step. Comparing with other similar properties that have been rented out over the last 6 months to a year helps to provide information to allow a decision to be made. Looking at these factors will give you some idea of what to expect in terms of the market over the long term. Consider the true cost of renting. If you choose to rent a house instead of selling it, you will need to consider the costs involved and what to be aware of when renting a house. It's almost certain that if you intend to keep the property for the long term, you will need to evict a tenant at some point. This can be extremely emotionally and financially stressful. There are also financial costs associated with renting out your property. The law protects tenants and ensures that the rental property is maintained to a certain standard. This means that as a landlord, you will have to be financially prepared to make any repairs to keep the home up to a good condition. You are responsible for maintaining the building, including the roof, garage door and windows, boiler and electric. Consider the rights of tenants and any restrictions. There are laws in place to protect tenants and landlords. These rules are in place to protect both the tenant and the landlord. These laws have a huge effect on the profitability of a rental investment. While they are in place to protect both landlord and tenant, they can reduce how much profit you make on the property. Consider the taxes you'll be responsible to pay. If you have rental property and you get an income from it, you are likely to be required to pay tax. The income is considered as income just like any wages you would get from a job, or dividends you may receive from stocks. You will need to keep very precise records to account for profits and losses at the end of the year. You may need an accountant to give you advice about how to do this, or perhaps do it for you, for a fee. So, should you rent a house instead of selling it? In most cases, you are probably better off selling the house, especially if you can make a profit. You will need enough money available quickly to handle any expenses that arise from the rental property. Whether or not it is best for you is your decision. Which way will be more profitable for? Sell to a credible company, fast, and for cash. If you decide to sell your property, a cash buyer may be the best option for you. When you sell to a cash buyer, will buy your house in any condition.